I'm all right. I just take it day by day.
Yep. Did
Only
you
way you can go.
did you take all of his stuff back to your house, or did you split it up between your brother and sister?
No, I went to his place last night and grabbed some stuff, and that was hard. Um, Spent some time with my kids and my mom last night. That was a good thing.
Yep.
This weekend is our Memorial Day, and I'm just going to throw everything out on his front lawn and have a yard sale.
Yep.
So, other than that, I'm all right.
That's good. Now turn your bloody lathe on, will you?
All right, I'll just shut up.
I'm sorry, I cannot have three distinguished gentlemen on the panel and not saying anything. Talk, will you?
Let's look for the gentleman.
I said distinguished.
Well, that threw me for starters. I was looking around trying to find us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, at one time I would pull a crowd in. Not anymore, because everything that at that time in my life we were talking about things that would be the future, and now everyone takes them for granted.
Yeah. Well, if it don't rain here, I got a parade to march in Saturday. I've got a ceremony to do in remembrance of a veteran on Sunday. And then I've got Memorial Day service at the post on Monday. It'll be a busy weekend.
Yep.
What's your Memorial Day to commemorate?
I think
Just people who have died. It does turn into a military thing as well, but your in-laws, whoever, you go decorate their grave, and just it's a remembrance day.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like our Anzac Day.
Yeah. Trying to remember. Wasn't
World War One.
Wasn't it Armistice Day before?
Originally, yes.
Yes. For some reason, I had that in my head. I always get that and Veterans Day mixed up, but now I've gotten that figured out. I don't know. I had a brain fart.
That's what I remember calling it when I was a little kid, Armistice Day.
Yeah.
And then for some reason, the word amnesty just didn't seem to fit the day.
Right. Hey, John.
John Season. Jeez, I haven't seen you for a while, John. Oh, not on here anyway.
Yeah.
How you going, John? How you going, Neil?
Howdy,
Hang
Neil.
on, all.
G'day, Neil.
Howdy, John.
Well, Neil, looks like I'm buggered for Q turn.
It's still a fair way off for that.
No, according to you, Queensland Premier, we have to go into quarantine for 14 days on arrival anyway.
Yeah, but that's why the border's closed. But my guess, the border will open again in a week.
Yeah, well, hopefully.
See
Hello,
how it
Neil.
John says been busy doing real woodwork.
Yeah. No, if it don't rotate, it ain't real woodwork.
I don't know. I'm prejudiced, but I'll argue with you. I think the person who does the fine furniture, the stuff they start the bidding at in the thousands of dollars,
Yeah.
the pain they take to make sure that a line, they don't even use pencils. They use a ultra sharp knife as a scribe to scribe the line they're going to cut on.
Yep.
Yeah, well, that saves grain tear out too.
Well, not only that, but it's depending on the tool that they're fixing to use. A lot of times they'll even leave a slot for like a saw, a hand saw, or any saw. You know, it gives a point.
And the tools they use are not cheap.
No,
Usually all custom handmade.
right?
I have to say, within our own hobby and craft, it amazes me the people that do all the very small, intricate work.
Oh yeah.
You know, finials that the biggest stem they have on it is like a toothpick size or a skewer.
I've got
The
works
ones, if you
where
sneeze, it
toothpicks-
might break it.
I was going to say, I've got works that a toothpick is considered big. That's what I
Yeah.
start.
Right. Well, that's like carvers. You see some of them that can carve a whole word out of a lead pencil,
Yes.
a wooden lead pencil, not the mechanical.
Yeah. Yeah, they've got too much time on their hands, I think.
Yeah.
They have patience. Far more than a lot of us do.
Scroll sawyers that can make a big old grandfather clock all with fretwork. You know, so there's specialties in every genre, I guess you'd say, of woodworking.
And to me, they're the masters. That's like Robo, to me, is a master when it comes to some of the tool work he does that he's only learned through production work.
I wouldn't call myself a master, I'm afraid. There's a lot around that are far better than me.
Or with a skew, you always amaze me what you can do with that. And you do it nonchalantly. And I keep practicing and practicing, and I don't know. I'll never make it the way you do it, but I'm working at it.
Well, that's all it is. That's all it is just practice.
I was going to say you're the master of large spindle work in Australia there, the Bravo.
Well, I just happened to fall into that. That was all. Which sometimes I wonder why.
You got to do what pays the bills.
Well, that's it.
He went from doing pen turning to telephone pole turning.
That's what I did. Robbo didn't.
No, never turned a pen. No desire to turn a pen. Like I like a lot of the pens that people do turn, and they're very, very nice. And yes, they require skill in a lot of cases. As I said, I've got a friend that turns nothing but pens and bottle stoppers.
And they're probably just as fast, turning their stuff out with their skills as you are with being able to sit and turn out table legs or ship masks or lamps.
Oh yeah, that's what you get used to doing, I suppose. It's like everything. But I don't care if a bloke's digging a hole. If he makes it look effortless, then I can stand and watch him for hours. Like I watched two blokes dig a trench once, about 200 yards long and 300 mil wide and 400 deep, and they just made it look so easy. Whereas, geez, I'd be buggered in the first 10 yards. You know, they did it all day. G'day, Effie.
Howdy, Effie.
What amazes me when I see the videos that I see out of Australia for the big mining trucks and how they drive them around sitting, 2 stories high in a cab and don't fall off the edges of cliffs and can pass little cars. To them, they're little and think nothing of it. To drive a vehicle like that, that takes a lot of skill, unless it's AI doing it. And I've seen where AI is driving the big trucks now, because especially along your highways.
Yep.
Where you have the trains, and the driver can fall asleep. Doesn't matter.
Well,
And he's got
on
2 or
a
3
lot of
trailers behind him.
on a lot of trains, they don't have any drivers at all. They've all done by remote control. Like they bring the ore trains into Headland, for instance. They don't need a driver on them at all. They can bring them in 600 miles without drivers.
And how many vehicles is it they're pulling?
They're nearly 2 kilometres. Nearly 2 kilometres long. Some of the ore trains.
I think both of y'all are talking about 2 different trains.
Yeah. I'm talking about.
Bob's talking about road trains, and you're talking about rail trains.
That's right. I was just about to clarify that. Road trains, I still haven't got AI in them yet. They're just the roads are just not built for it. That's the whole thing. There's certain sections where they can do it, but I don't think it's ever gone into it. But what those big trucks have on them, the big ore trucks and the 500-ton dumpers, they've actually got cameras on them so that they can be, so you can see each corner of it. I used to work on the mongrel things.
Shoot, some of them just need cameras for the driver to see out of them.
Well, yeah, that's it. Plus, vehicles are generally banned on their same roads anyway. Well, g'day, Raider. They normally stop the trucks. They normally stop the trucks if there's like just normal vehicles on the thing, like site supervisors or that something going into the pit.
Well, I know when I had to go get copper anodes or copper cathodes out of the copper mines in Arizona, a lot of times there was designated routes for commercial vehicles versus the construction vehicles.
Yep.
And obviously, if a big truck was coming to a 4-way, they had the right of way, no doubt.
Oh yeah, Mike is right.
Hello to everyone else that's joined, so I can get a word in.
Yeah, Radar's just joined as well.
Hey, Effie. Hey, Radar. You too.
Just don't die on us, Blair.
No, don't plan on it. At least not right now, anyway.
Yeah, normally I'm in a VFW parade, but can't do it this year. It's open. But they're still going to have it. I'll be out Monday to the cemetery with my group of vets.
Right. Are they
And,
doing a ceremony at the post or anything Monday?
well, my home post is in Virginia,
Oh yeah.
and I'm at visiting because my home post is where my lifetime membership was given me.
Right. Well, you can transfer that if you really wanted to.
Yeah. Right now, I've been trying to figure out which one around here that fits what I want to do, and
Right.
we have one that's it's got its own restaurant, commercial restaurant yet on the front end, totally run by vets and their kids.
Right.
But it's been hurting because it's a big, long, old warehouse, and the front of it's on a commercial street, and that's where we have the restaurant.
Right.
And the kitchen is behind the restaurant, and behind that, like the old speakeasy days, you have to know the password down the hallway. And we've even had some fun. There's a coat hook on the wall that you turn and the door opens. You don't have to, but or you can be buzzed through by the cashier because they like to play the Roaring 20s because it's rented out for parties, and that's usually the theme they want because it was restored with a bunch of late 1800, early 1900 bar, refinished to some extent. There wasn't enough bullet holes in it, so we added a few more. But it pays for itself. It pays for what we have, and the property was donated to us by the city, tax-free, and being nonprofit, it would be. And then another room back is where we hold our post meetings. And it's open from 6:30 in the morning to catch the local merchants so they can stop by and have coffee and a quick grilled breakfast if they want it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then it also picks up the DuPont, which is down the road. It's very popular with them. And it delivers box lunches now that they've had because of COVID. They'll order a meal and they take it down to the guard shack, and then the guard drives around to the buildings, and it's like your lunch is here, and it's sitting out, on the guard desk when you enter the building to check IDs. They take it to there, and so it's been booming there because it's the only place that has had a lot of people that will work for nothing to do it.
Right.
But it keeps it going. And we have members from 4 or 5 other posts that are active there as a secondary post. But the one I used to go to here, it just died out. There was too many old
Chris.
people, and we couldn't attract young people.
Howdy,
Hey,
Chris. Sorry,
Chris.
Jay.
Time to reset those calipers, Jay. I tell you, those gaps are getting a bit wider between the jaws.
Yeah.
I was going to say, Neil, you're a bit quiet, but his microphone's muted, so that would explain it.
Well, Well, he wasn't. He's only just muted it because I could hear what he was doing. It sounds like he's cutting up stuff over there.
Oh, he's prepared his house for you, Robbo, and now you're not coming.
He hasn't got enough. He hasn't got enough time to do that. I'll tell you.
Ooh,
Not the whole place, that's for sure.
It's a bachelor pad, Dr. Bob, so
No, it's not even that. It's a wood
No.
storage zone.
Yeah.
okay, yeah, that's why Robbo was laughing.
I live in my camper that's in my driveway. My house is just for wood storage and
Yeah.
doing stuff. And having
Really?
coffee, actually.
do you pay less on taxes because it's uninhabitable?
No.
No.
He just wanted to turn the timber frame of the house, you see, so he started pulling it apart.
Oh no, he hasn't pulled it apart yet. You filled in your swimming pool yet, Neil, or not?
No, too busy growing all sorts of things to feed the ducks that land in it.
Yeah.
That's one.
Use your pool and fill it full of water and tell people it's some magic thing that'll make them younger.
To be honest, Neil, you're going to have to show us, all right? I want to see this. I don't just want verbalization. I want visual.
Of what, the pool?
Or just everything.
Oh, no, you don't.
Or you just don't want to add out on the internet.
We'll just throw a tarp over the bodies.
That's what he's feeding to the ducks, Bob.
I actually finished my volcano lighting yesterday, so
Oh yeah.
it's this is I don't know if I've told you before, but a client has this crystal sphere that was part of a carafe lit top, and they lost the carafe ages ago, and they asked me to mount the sphere, so to cut the plug off and mount the sphere on top of a stand. And we were just talking about stands, and I just finished that urn for a woman that had LEDs on the inside, and goes, "Oh, we come from New Zealand. I'd love it to be a volcano with LEDs in the middle." Like, you're talking something that's only 90 mil diameter and 90 mil high, so it's not exactly a big thing. But they want one LED showing up the sphere, and then other LEDs in the stand to make the stand look like a mountain with volcano, with lava coming down the outside. So I've cast some timber with gaps in it, and that's filled with red and orange translucent resin. And yesterday I just finished the lighting for it, and they want it battery powered as well, which was even a pain in the ass. If I turn my camera on, I'll see if I can show you what I'm talking. There we go.
You could be an arse and resin the battery in there. Look, it's battery powered, mate, but you can't get to the battery, all right?
Well, this is the top side of the plate.
Yeah.
And that shows the 4 pencil batteries, because the bright LEDs take 12 volts. And these are only 1.5 volts each. 3 volts each. So to get the 12 volts, you link them all up. And there's a little switch in the middle. Don't know if you can see there.
Yeah.
To turn it on and off.
Yep.
And on the back of that,
Sorry,
on the back of that
I had to hit the
is
mute
the
button.
Yep.
4 LEDs, which will light up the volcano, and the one in the air is the one that light up the sphere. So then I turn it on. How's that going to work? I'm trying to do it with 2 fingers. There it is there. There. And you can see they're all lit up.
Yep.
Yeah.
And not exactly the best soldering iron job I've ever done, but that's the way it goes. But yeah, so that was yesterday's deal.
Might
I've been
have
waiting
to-
for.
You might have to translate soldering for Americans. It's soldering.
Thanks, Bravo. Jeez. Yada yada.
Are
Hello,
you being
Joy.
for real, Robbo?
How you going,
So
Joy?
what did you get?
Yes, he is being for real, Neil.
They call it soldering.
Yeah, soldering.
Yeah.
They leave the L out.
Oh, okay.
Like aluminum. They don't put the I in it.
Aluminium.
Yeah.
Aluminum.
Oh, good grief. Okay.
I went up a little bit
No,
there.
it took me ages. It took me ages to work out what the hell they were talking about with this soldering.
Well, in
Chris is
parts of
back.
Europe, they consider that different because they consider that just lounging around, slowly getting from one place to the next. They're solder on. And that really caught me when I was in England, and as people would just solder on, huh?
Are you trying to talk your way out of it, Bob?
No, I mean I didn't understand at that time what it meant. I was only there for 8 weeks, but that was enough to get addicted to good vinegar on chips and really good fresh fish.
Well, you don't get that in the US.
Well, we do in Michigan off the Great Lakes, but a lot of places that are land, inside the state or inside the country where fish is not fresh as fresh. They fly it in, they pack it in ice and fly it in, but there's nothing like catching a perch here in the Great Lakes, and while you're camping and you pull it out of the water and immediately gut and clean it and throw it in the skillet. The salmon the same way in Alaska.
Blah. I'd die in Alaska. I don't like salmon. Bloody horrible, no matter which way it's prepared.
Do you have a salmon run there in Australia? Where it's
Well,
fresh
not South
salmon?
Australia. Not in South Australia, anyway.
No, we normally get our salmon is normally in packages in the supermarket. It's not a fish that they use for fish and chips anyway.
The salmon we
No,
have,
I wouldn't.
we have a beach salmon we catch. That's nothing like your salmon.
No,
That's about
Hey,
it.
Bob, Chris has said you're not helping us, Bob, when you're explaining what the English do for solder.
No, I was only 18 when I was over there.
what are you actually making, Jay?
And there I had a problem understanding English because we
you
don't
don't
speak
know.
English anymore.
That answers your question for you, Joy. He doesn't know.
Sarge, what have you been working on? Scrolling
Just
around.
power lines. Not really. I did some couple 2 or 3 weeks ago, but that was about it. Oh, I finished up those graduation plaques. One for my daughter's boyfriend and one for my wife's cousin. I got those done and out. And then I was working on a plaque for a teacher that was supposed to be retiring this year, but she decided that she wasn't going to retire yet. She decided she was going to continue being a teacher. So
Good.
I still got to finish that up, and I'll have to set that off to the side.
Well, how do you like your new class of work, or whatever you call it, that you moved up in the world or gone up
I
in
like
the
it.
world?
Yeah, I'm moving up, getting off the ground finally, and
In a
a lot
bucket
of
truck,
every.
or you actually
Yep.
have to climb?
No, so far it's been mostly bucket truck. I do need to do some climbing for when we go on storms, but for the most part, it's just been bucket work.
I
And we,
want to see it when they land you with a helicopter on the wires, you know, like they do, and you got to
yeah,
crawl all the way along the valleys and that. Those blokes
Yeah.
astound me.
Oh yeah, those guys are. That's another thing. It's just like any one of our crafts here. You always got the ones that have higher skills than others, and some of them take more guts than others too. Just like in that line, in my line of work.
Yeah. No,
I mean,
hanged if I'd do
I'm
that.
good with. I'm good with poles that only go up to about 70, 80 foot. And voltages up to about 14,000 or so.
Yeah.
So a lot of the guys that
Only
do the
14.
transmission, yeah, 14, just a little over. So guys that deal with transmission lines, though, most of the time they do their work dead. But the ones that you see on the lines, they actually have to do theirs hot. So there's different ways of doing things. When I was in Louisiana last year for storm, they had helicopters taking steel sections of transmission frames and moving them from location to location. They had a bunch that got blown down. So the helicopters would drag new pieces into a section and drag the old trash out to another section.
Yep.
And every time that they would cross the highway, they'd have to shut the highway down.
You're talking about the stuff that's usually behind big fences?
Yeah. Yeah, and the big metal structures that go in between those substations.
Yeah, since I've met you online, I've been trying to follow and pick up some of that stuff from YouTubers that have. There's one I run across where he actually has a camera, how he gets it for safety purposes or what, I'm not sure. But
The question
it
there
looks
for
like
you.
scary work.
Question there for you, Sarge, from Chris.
Do the wires have insulation? No, they're bare wires. I was waiting at an intersection looking at some the other day. Most of them don't. The ones that have insulation on are usually our secondary services. If you're seeing a lot on the pole, they're usually phone or cable or somebody else. Most of my wires are all just aluminum. Some are copper, but they're all open.
But you're feeding the primary side of the distribution transformer, and another group take the distribution side.
I work all distribution. We take it from the sub to the customers. So we can do anything from the power poles and the wires up top to the transformers that bring the power down to the homeowners and to the businesses. We also do the overhead services, some are even underground. All right, Radar. Time for him to take off, go take a shower, and head to bed. Or head to bed.
Thanks for coming in, Radar. Take it easy.
Yeah. Yeah, I got a neighbor at the end of my street that the father has worked for, well, it's now, it always has been Detroit Edison,
Right.
but he's worked for it and he's about ready to retire in about 6-7 years, and his 2 sons are in it. And it amazes me, and I've watched both sons grow up. But when he's on call, you always know when someone's on call because their big truck with either a digger on a trailer behind it or a crane
Right.
parked in front of their house.
Yep.
The youngest is in college, but Edison's paying for it on scholarship because he's going into distribution engineering to get a master's degree. He's got the bachelor and he applied for it and they said, yes, you got it. But there's only 4 universities that offer the program.
Right.
So this coming summer, he's off to school.
Huh. Yeah, sometimes it's like any engineers that I've dealt with, as far as like aircraft engines and car engines and power line. It's always interesting to see how they come up with stuff, and then some of what they come up with looks all good on the paper and all the logistics of it and everything, but when it comes down to actually putting it together, sometimes it's a nightmare for us, or we have to kind of tweak it a little bit to make sure that it works right. Like this job we're working right now, this new build of distribution lines out of the sub, some of the pull setups that they've got for us to put in, they just don't quite match up with what should actually be there. Like for a road crossing, everything has to be extra support, and they had missed a few things, and we talked with them, and they agreed, so they've upped our some of our work, changed out some of the poles and the framing. It's always a challenge, no matter how long you do it and what day it is.
Yeah. Yeah, one time, I have to say one time knew because he passed away, but he was one of the engineers in charge of the electrical distribution to the end of, I'm trying to think of the name of the road now, out of Florida that goes down, keeps going into the Everglades. There's a community at the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
And getting power out there. Because it's all that big, well, the old bridge is, most of it's gone, but the new bridge, they put conduit or hollow tubes in the bridge that they can fish the wire through.
Right.
But the problem is, no one ever calculated, he said, the amount of energy to pull that sucker through for pulling 2.5 miles of wire off
Yeah.
schools.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of my jobs used to be to make a pig to pull all the wires through. We made them
yeah.
up to 2 feet in diameter.
Hmm.
And Bailey says very few engineers have practical knowledge. The good ones will listen to the field. Dead
Yeah.
right.
That's
Mhm.
exactly right.
Anyway,
and this
I've got to go
engineer
and have,
that- Go and have tea.
I've got to go and have lunch. So I'll catch you all later.
Yep.
All right, Robo.
Yeah, I'm going to disappear too, guys. I'll catch you later.
See you,
Oh,
Neil.
they're gonna hold hands and run away together.
That's right.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm going
They're going to have a
Yeah.
private chat now and discuss us.
Thanks
All
for
right.
coming in.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm not-
this
I'm not
engineer is
doing
a good one.
I'm not doing anything in particular, but since I left this bit so bulbous, I've actually done a bit of hollowing out in there. As I'm just establishing, I keep hitting the thing that's holding my camera. So it's stopping me from getting right in underneath here.
Oh,
But it's got the giant split in it anyway, so it sticks through. But that's no biggie. Like I said, I wasn't really making anything. I was just stuffing around.
I often do
Yeah,
that.
well, stuffing around, you can still you're practicing your skills.
Yeah. Yeah, something like that.
I mean, I don't know. It almost looks more like on the spindle work side.
What I'd like to say, I can't say on camera.
Oh, come on, Jay.
It's a common saying in Australia, but it's swearing, so I'm not going to.
We'll put it in the private chat. We won't read it out loud.
Then you'll have to explain it.
Yeah. Nah, I won't bother. It's best if my goldfish memory just forgets what I was thinking about, to be honest.
What were you talking about?
I
What?
don't know. We're talking about Blair.
Blair, you're turning your
And then he
lights
stopped
off.
doing- And then he
It's your
stopped
turn
doing
to carry the conversation.
He's not listening, Dr. Bob.
Who? What? Huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's cool.
They are all little stars, tiny stars. I'm going to. I want to do a. I want to try the goblet again tomorrow, but with the ring on the cup part of the goblet. And then I'm gonna, if that works out, I'll get halfway through that to see if that's going to work, and then I'm gonna do a line down the middle of the ring, and then inlay some of those little stars in the ring.
That'd be
Are
cool.
those glass bottles that those things are in?
Sorry.
Are those glass bottles that they're in?
Yeah.
Hold on to those because you can use those in like other turnings.
Yep.
Like those ash things that I make.
Yep. I got heaps of them, eh?
Oh yeah, there you go. Look at that.
Nice. And if the cork goes bad, you can make another one
Yep. Yep, that's right.
using the carbide blade.
That's right.
I had somebody, and I don't know who, it just showed up in the mail, sent me some wood stain.
Oh, yeah.
A whole kit of 10 wood stains.
That's cool.
Nice.
Now, I've got to figure out, I think they're alcohol, to thin them with alcohol, because
Don't drink it.
You want this one, Blair?
Yeah, there you go.
See?
Nice.
Yeah, and that you can roll on its side and use it as a scraper.
Yeah, and you can also get some really good catches with it too.
Well, that's where the practice comes in, and you blame the wood.
Yeah, but there's people like you in here that'll say otherwise.
You don't broadcast your practice.
Oh, sorry, I better delete the last year of videos that I've put up then. The last year of lives.
No, it's been a pleasure watching you learn.
Hey,
I don't mean that as an insult,
Hey.
but watching you learn over the past year and figure out solutions to problems and listening to people who come up and join you.
Yes.
I'm watching Lobo yell at you.
It's been something different, that's for sure. It's not exactly what I thought I was going to do in my lives, but hey, you live and learn, don't you?
And that's why they're live. They're not pre-recorded.
Yeah, that's right.
What?
You
There's
know?
I got my
Not-
script. Didn't you get yours? But I can't read Aussie.
All right, gentlemen, I'm going to go hang out with Sammy. But we will see you guys later.
See
All
ya,
right,
man.
thanks for coming in, Glenn.
Yes, sir.
Hey,
You guys,
Blair,
good day.
Just
have a
remember,
good
my
weekend
prayers
of
are with you.
remembrance.
Sorry.
You know, Sarge. Ah, you got company. It'd be interesting some night to have you do a lesson on scrolling.
Right. Well, I've thought about it. I just hadn't gotten around to it. Life has gotten in my way.
You find your hobby relaxing from the day's job?
Yeah, at times. Hold on, I'll be back.
That was quick.
Yeah, she had to show me something she didn't want everybody to see. So Chris says that he's learned so much watching this show. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Even though I haven't gotten into wood turning yet, I've learned quite a bit just watching Jay and listening to Robo and watching Blair and even Cade when he's out there doing a demo or turning.
Well, I'm on my lathe usually by 9:30 in the morning, or in my shop. Today it was cleaning
Right.
because my shop was cut down to 1/3 what I had, so everything is stacked and piled, and try to get stuff so I know where it's at. But at the
Right.
same time, when you do that, you end up with the inimitable sawdust and shavings that just doesn't get picked up by the different, dust collection systems.
Right.
So about spring and fall, I pull everything out and right to the wall at different sections of the shop and just clean it completely.
Right.
See where the mice were hiding in the winter because they love to hide.
Yep.
And that's about 40%. This about 60% of what I did today was. And then when I see something I don't like or think that, hey, I need to reorganize this, then I do it while it's out.
But it's always best because you try to organize or try to clean while you're doing a project. It doesn't work out so good.
No, but I do have 5 projects that I've wanted to do and I've lost pieces of. And now I have found them, and I've got these big gallon or half gallon size Ziploc bags.
Yeah.
I love them in the shop.
Yep.
Uh, they're used because we use them when we freeze meat and stuff like that. But what I do when I pull it out of the bag, it's still frozen. So the bag, all I do is turn it inside out, wash it, and take it out, dry it, rinse it, and take it out and hang it up on a clothesline. It looks stupid seeing bags hanging upside down, but they're clean, at least clean enough for me. And I'll put
Right.
the pieces I have for that project in a bag and put them
Tag
together.
and tag them.
Yep, and use a big magic marker and write what the project is on it. And
Yep.
now I have a milk crate full of projects in bags, so I can just go grab a bag out.
Yep.
Yeah, because I've been doing these candles, and I've got a lot of this branch wood, or in one case from the arbor next door, which 45 years growing.
Mm-hmm.
I got a lot of the wood from it as a vine. The trunk of the vine was the size of my calf,
Huh.
but it's not a wood.
Right. Right.
It's just an overgrown plant. And I got some pieces of that I liked, and I decided to cut them. They were just pieces, and I figured out what to make
Oh,
out
not
of
the
them.
water.
No, is it one more minute? Great.
My wife's been doing a lot of earrings. She does decals on them, and some of them are water slide. She gets some that uses epoxy and puts them in silicone molds, makes them. And she just found some at the store when we were down in Louisiana this weekend that are in different shapes, like dinosaurs and wine bottles and all that stuff. She's gonna try to make those into earrings.
Yeah, that's a big art of itself, jewelry making.
Right.
And I have a niece that did it for years, put herself through school doing about a third of what she earned was from her jewelry that she was making.
Right.
But she had her own style. But I had given her a little mini lathe
Hmm.
that I had used for pens, loaned it to her, and she started using it uniquely in the sense that she didn't need a full lathe, but she started taking, and I forget who started.
Hmm.
One of the women that does a lot of jewelry work
Yeah.
has a system
fine.
where you can take discs and
Mhm.
turn them and turn the face of them and turn them off center, so you can get all sorts of off center loops and circles and whatever in it.
Right.
So I gave her the whole kit that I had. I went to a big seminar and bought her whole package after attending her classes. And that happened to be in Pittsburgh. And my sister was there because she wanted to see what it was like, and she got addicted to it. So she gave it to her daughter. Now the daughter's making them. That is small.
Yeah, these are a couple of wine bottles,
Uh-huh.
and they look like you didn't make these, did you? Or did
I
you?
did.
Oh, yeah, these are the epoxy ones that she's done. She just takes them out of the mold, toys around, finds a place to drill a hole in there, and puts in the clips to put them in her ears.
Mhm. Yeah, that's find a niche, and the problem is, after a while, you become successful at them, and then people start copying you,
Oh yeah,
and then you get mad because they're doing it.
right.
Oh, those molds, the candy molds,
Yeah, yeah,
because they're chocolate molds.
They're actually for bonding.
yeah. That's what he was just saying. Candy molds, chocolate molds. Yeah,
They work good for bonding.
yeah.
My niece is a chocolatier for a living, and they have been a blessing.
I just don't know how.
All right, time for some vodka.
That's the best alcohol you can get,
Yeah.
but you don't want to go turning after you've had some.
No, I'm not in the fashion of drinking metho.
No, I mean, what'll it do? Just eat your guts out, ruin your digestive system.
Oh, is that all?
Make you wish
Oh.
you were dead.
Oh, is that all? All right then. Swig it up.
Yeah, I was very interested because I ordered some mentholated spirits right after COVID hit because I couldn't get to the store.
Yep.
And I was surprised it was white.
Yeah. What should it be in your country?
Clear.
Oh yeah. They've
But what they put in it so you wouldn't drink it
Yeah.
was white.
Yep.
But
Oh,
it doesn't affect the wood any. Well, mostly it's used for cleaning and removing paint and stuff like that. So
Yeah. This is bit of grapevine. This stuff. I went to my mother's house this morning and got some more.
yeah, and it's a vine. It's not a wood.
Yep.
Technically, it's not wood.
Okay, I better not cheat. Better do some of this first. Abrasive.
Jay's secret abrasive treatment.
Yeah, don't tell anyone. Beard cream.
See, Outback juice.
Chris says he bought some water slide paper just the other day and made some. Really like that for logos.
What's
Yeah.
water slide?
Water slide's what my wife uses. It's hard to explain.
Sounds like a slippery.
Kind of like those. Kind of like when you get those tattoos on the paper.
Oh, and
The
they slide
vending
off in the
machine.
water.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, with some special ink
Mm.
for a printer, you can actually print on the paper. There's some I've got probably 5 more sheets left in a pack. But what I've done in the past is I've taken pictures of people that are in the urns that I've made. This is years ago. My sister got me into it, or to do it, and then transfer it to the wood, and then use a wood burning system, a good old wood burner on it.
Yeah, I've seen that before.
I was into it until I found I was breathing the fumes too much. And now I know I need to have a fan running across my work
Yeah,
to blow it away.
yeah. Chris says I just used my laser printer. That's all we use. That's all she uses. Well, actually, ours is inkjet.
Yeah, so's mine.
Yeah. That's what she uses for the images on the tumblers when she makes them.
But you know, if she hasn't tried it yet, they have edible paper.
No. Yeah, I've
And
heard
you
of
can
that.
print on it in your printer.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can take a cake and take a color photograph of the person and print it on the edible paper. You gotta, supposedly the ink, if it's a water-based ink, you can eat it because there's one brand that you can use and eat long as it's not heavily dense in
Right.
areas. But it's interesting, but the ink manufacturers don't want to tell people that it's based, the ink, the trick is it based on vegetable dyes? And if it is, it's edible.
Right.
And she's done pictures and put them on cakes like for bride and groom,
Mm-hmm.
but she's actually done all the groomsmen and the bridesmaids and put their pictures on their little cake that goes in front of them. You know, if you have separate cakes and that.
Right.
And she says, I ask her why. She says, because they pay me $35 for a $4 cake. Okay.
Yeah.
And there's printers today that'll print on fondant. You roll it out, and it's a printer, but it doesn't roll it through. The printer moves across the top of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's a full color print cartridge that goes across, you know. And I thought that was neat. She keeps wanting to get one, but they're a couple of grand.
Chris says the problem was we didn't read the instructions, so it took us a while to know we had to use lacquer on the decal. Yeah, yeah, I don't know all the steps on it, but I know it takes some of them take her a little bit to get everything set up just right, get the images just right.
Yeah.
But some of them, like you were talking about putting them on the urns, if you don't reverse the image and you try to put them
Right.
on there, they're backwards.
Yep, I've done that and had to return one.
Hmm. When I first got my new truck, there was a pinstripe mark all the way around it where they had like glue resin or whatever. And I thought, man, that'd be kind of cool if you took some vinyl and made barbed wire sections on it. So she did. She cut out some, I think some bronze or brass looking. I guess it was bronze decal, and she just put it all the way around my truck, lined it up and everything. Looks
Oh,
pretty cool.
lucky.
Yeah.
Now, I've seen years ago, one of the people I knew opened a business in vinyl wrap for vehicles.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now well, I don't know what they did during COVID, but they were making big things for the auto company until they bought the equipment, and then they don't need her anymore. And the ad agencies found it was lucrative, so they took it in-house. So she lost her big contracts, but she still does stuff for campers, motorhomes, small company trucks, where it's not a fleet, you only have one. But it'll be set up and turn it on in the morning, and at the end of the day, you've got the 2 or 3 wraps that you need to put on there, and the software costs her a fortune.
Oh, yeah.
Because you have to put in the make and model of the vehicle, and then it automatically knows where to skip to put spaces for door handles, like for sliding doors on vans and that.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Nothing too flash. I just wanted to see how far that crack was going to go and what was going to happen when I hollowed.
Yeah, just put some resin in and it'll be okay.
Yeah. I just need to buy some now.
Or
two-part
a suggestion, Jay. If you had a battery-powered tea light, they're quite common.
Yep.
You can emphasize the crack a little more and make it look rugged.
Yeah.
And you put the tea light in there with a little bit of colored gel or whatever in front of it, or embed the tea light, and now you've got a light flickering through the side of your little candle.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
I've been doing that here I love it. I buy the tea lights 2 dozen at a time. I take them apart.
Yeah.
And put the light where I want it. But in the bottom, I always drill a hole that fits the plastic base that holds the battery and the power switch.
Yep.
So I just glue that in the bottom and run the wire up to where the light is in it.
It even shines even more now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got
Maybe take some of them beads and write it down in there.
Yeah. I put some tongue oil in there so it'll make it nice and shiny. I love that stuff. Looks great.
Yeah. Let me
Well,
spy on the kid.
oh, gives a look.
School is out today for the kids in what we call high school.
Yeah.
It's over, done. Tomorrow's is exchanging yearbooks, signing stuff like that.
So how does it go? School's out for
Yeah.
summer.
Well, they don't have to go back. So now it's what
Forever.
community college, what trade school. They should have already been thinking about it.
Yeah.
But he hasn't. He's been thinking more about his girlfriend.
Is he related to Reese out of Malcolm in the Middle?
Yeah. And the other one just does not like me right now. Well, in a few days, his school will be out. But because he's an avid gamer, I have to have the computer system turn off everything he has. And I can tell because I can just bring it up on my phone and it simply says that he is paused.
Is this the one that says he doesn't have a clock in his room?
Yep. So I pause him.
I like that. That's funny.
But I have control over, I can turn like the Alexa in his room is not paused.
Yep.
You know, I keep that on because that's how he turns the lights on and off and controls stuff in his room by voice. Yep. It's also his alarm clock. And if he doesn't, there's an app. There's so many apps for her. It's really growing. But he can listen to music he likes on it. And if it's nighttime music, it'll sit there and she will ask in a whisper, "Are you still awake?" about every half hour. And if there's no response, she stops, which is nice, you know, to go to sleep by.
Yep.
And then there's just the opposite by setting the alarm in the morning by the day of the week. And it follows the calendar on his phone and computer because they're mirrored.
Yep.
And it yells at him to get out of bed in the morning if he doesn't get up and physically actually hit the minus button, you know, the volume down button. Yep. So he just can't yell at her to shut up. And I have found all these cute things, and you know, I've been following what you can do. And people write apps for it. Anybody can. It's open source, totally open source. Like I got one that tells fortunes, and there's like 60 different fortunes you can pick from. And the person that tells the fortune and gives answers is the dog, Riley. And depending on what your fortune is when you ask and the weather outside, like it's sunny, you're going to enjoy it. Just, go out, enjoy yourself in the sun. Don't forget the suntan oil. Oh, and by the way, your girlfriend's out and she wants to see your good looking body or something like that. It's all based on teenage stuff. But that you can't do, can you? Because you've been eating too much. So there's a whole set of them, and I pre-program them, and he doesn't know how yet. Because if so, I would be stuck with it too. But that's the challenge. If he wants to, it's available, and he can get to it on his computer, his phone, and his tablets because it's open source.
Yep. Well, on that note, I think I'm going to knock it on the head.
Okay.
Appreciate you.
We'll catch you tomorrow night.
Yep. Hopefully.
Yeah. I may not be here. I got to go help with bingo tomorrow night. Forgot about that one.
Oh,
Cool.
VFW bingo.
Yeah. We just started that up at the beginning of the month.
Yep, ours in Virginia did.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Thanks for coming in. Have a
Yep.
good night
Night.
See you all
tomorrow,
later.
Marge.
Take it easy.
Bye bye. Bye. See you later, everyone in the chat.